I'm not even going to wear it out. What I say every time about every gimmick match, Royal Rumble, fucking whatever the girls' version comes before the guys' version. So we get to see two of them. And in this case, the women's chamber event. Do you think they give the chamber women chamber pots?
No.
I'm just wondering.
No.
Do you have a chamber pot? I've got a chamber pot.
I don't have a chamber pot, no.
My mother.
These are medieval times. Sorry.
My mother left to me. It was actually a very old gimmick of a joke chamber pot with a little ring of mink fur around the edge of it. But anyhow, the mink fur was around the edge of these women in the women's elimination chamber, which is surrounded by heavy metal chains and plexiglass and hard surfaces, so naturally nobody got busted open. Alexa Bliss took on Rochelle. Rochelle took on Kiana James, took on Tiffany Stratton, took on Rhea Ripley, took on Oscar. And again, it was obvious from the entrances of this that Rhea Ripley is the star of the division. And I know that people like Tiffy. And Rochelle is doing a good job. Not sure about Kiana yet. She's a robust young lady in good physical condition.
She's good. She's really improved. Every time I watch her now, I'm like, wow, she's better than the last time I saw her. She's good.
Yeah, I'm not saying she's not any good. I'm saying I'm not sure about her yet because that librarian look.
Yeah, the gimmick
is yes, yeah. And then Alexa Bliss, little Lexi, she's in there too. And I mean, I can't critique this as a match with the story they told and the logic behind it and the comebacks and the drama because it's two girls start and do shit to each other until each one comes in and they do more shit to each other. Same as the guys. I'm not being sexist. With Kiana and Tiffy in between the handsprings and the round-offs and the backflips, they did some wrestling. And then Oscar came in and beat up some people. And I wrote, I've never seen so many handsprings. And then Alexa came in. And I noted that it was about 15 minutes in and nobody's makeup was smeared yet. I mean, I understand the motivation for a cage match blow off in a bitter feud. I understand the war games, as we talked about, was originally for the Horsemen and Dusty's superpowers, the factions that had a blood feud to settle things. They've just made these gimmicks bigger and more opulent because they've got a bigger budget and it looks even more contrived. And then they've set it up to where they have to have people in these matches, whether they have any blood feud or not. And then I don't even know. I can't keep track of the women who's babyface and who's heels. But if they hadn't put Logan Paul in the goddamn men's chamber match, I don't think they would have had a heel. So it's baby faces beating each other up intermittently. They're doing moves to each other. And again, I have to make the one statement. If the girls can do this in this environment and nobody gets carried out on oxygen, then why are the guys scared? So then Rhea Ripley came in and the fans woke up and she beat everybody up. And she and Alexa Bliss played Twister trying to do something. And then Oscar misted Alexa and Kiana beat her 1, 2, 3. So she was eliminated. But then Rochelle came in and she beat up everybody. And they got her over in this thing. She powerbombed Kiana through one of the pod windows and then powerbombed Oscar on top of Kiana and pinned both of them. So that was a nice spot. And then she hung Rhea up in the cage upside down and beat up Tiffy. And then Rhea was able to get loose. So as Rochelle was going to do something to Tiffy, Rhea cannonballed her off the top and Tiffy moonsaulted her 1, 2, 3. So we ended up with Rhea and Tiffy. And again, you had to, because those are kind of the two biggest stars of this match. But there's no heel here. These two are good with each other. But it's not like people are just living and dying by, oh my God, my girl has to win or all hope is gone. And finally, Rhea pushed her off the top rope into the fucking pod and hit a riptide 1, 2, 3. And then Rhea and Jade stared at each other because Jade Cargill was in the bleachers in the skybox or whatever the fuck.
Well, you have to be happy with the result.
Well, yes. I mean, that's pretty much the only result because Rhea needs to be back in the title picture. If anybody can get something out of Jade, she can, because not only is she the same size comparably, she'll be able to move Jade around if Jade's not sure where she needs to go. But is Jade's gray hair off-putting to you?
No, she looks like a superhero.
I think I like the blonde better. She used to be blonde, didn't she? Or am I just imagining it?
It was always white. And there was always like white, like Storm from X-Men.
Well, white blonde, like, Wayne Ferris blonde or whatever. But anyhow, I agree with the finish. I just, again, the women's elimination chamber, it's a gimmick before a gimmick, and they have to go through this, and then we got to watch it again later on. So it's this show was like, again, the contrast at the beginning and at the end. We were in Gimmickville with this overdone structure and all the flashing lights and bells and whistles and guys just doing moves to each other. At least there was no furniture to complicate matters further. They at least just stuck with the cage gimmick. But then in the middle of it, we had two classic, regular, ordinary, everyday, normal wrestling matches, one-on-one, with people that were over, having matches that made sense. But in the case of Punk and Finn, it wasn't the money match that everybody wants to see, which is Punk and Roman. And in the case of Becky and AJ, honestly, I think for business purposes and just for the art of wrestling, that may have been the best thing of the whole show. But it's I guess that's what I'm saying is we were sandwiched by the total gimmickry, and in the middle was two of the more normal wrestling matches that you will ever see on television these days. But that's what I thought about that.
What do you think of Jade sitting up in the stands like that?
I think that's the best place for her. I might, next time, I might try the parking lot.
All right, that's not nice.
I maybe just put her on top of a double-decker bus so she can see in the window, but she's not really in the building.
I don't know what your problem is all of a sudden with Jade Cargill, but Jim.
Yes.
There were more matches. In fact, 3 more on this big pay-per-view spectacular.
3 more is almost an average of one every 50 minutes.